So let's talk about winter squash and how we know when it's time to harvest the fruits of your labor. Today I'm going to focus on some popular edible varieties and not gourds or carving pumpkins. However, the idea is the same regardless of which types of winter squash or pumpkins you're harvesting. One of the first things you'll want to look for when selecting varieties is the maturity date listed on the seed packet. Depending on the area you're growing in, it will make the most sense to choose varieties that will have plenty of time to mature based on the target planting date at your location. In other words, the closer you live to the equator, the shorter the growing season, so you probably don't want to select a squash variety that takes over 100 days to mature. Whereas the farther north you are from the equator, the more daylight hours you'll get in the summer, which means you'll have more flexibility when it comes to choosing varieties. Here in southeastern Michigan, we get a little over 15 hours of sunlight at the summer equinox, which is great. However, we can also have cold spring weather, so planting early isn't necessarily the best option for us due to the chance for a spring frost. Also, the warmer your soil temperature, the quicker your plants will grow. So for us, we like to get our winter squash starts in the ground by no later than June 1st, which allows for plenty of time for our squash to mature. Now, the three varieties I'll be showing everyone today are Kabocha, Butternut, and Delicata. There are a few things we look for when deciding if it's time to begin harvesting our squash. One of the most obvious is, what do the individual squash look like? This is something you'll get better at identifying the more seasons you grow, but at the least you should be looking at pictures of the mature fruit, which are usually available at the website for the company you purchased your seed from, or a quick search on Google should provide lots of photos of the variety you're looking at. In the case of the Kabocha squash here, it should be a nice dark green color and will most likely have orange spots on the areas of skin that have been on the ground. Butternut will begin to turn from green to the more familiar tan color that we all know, and Delicata will begin to have more pronounced striping that will have streaks of yellow or orange on the side that contacts the ground. The next thing we look for is the condition of the stem. When a squash plant is in the early stages of production, you'll notice the fruit stem is a healthy green that will often match the color of the vines themselves. As the squash matures, the stem will darken until it gets to the point where it begins turning brown and dries out. Once you see stems that are dried, you can harvest that particular fruit. The other thing to look for is the health of the plants themselves. You'll notice how healthy and vibrant the plants will look the first 2/3 or so of their life before they start dying back. Once you see the plants begin to turn yellow or become less vibrant, it's a good indication the nutrient train is slowing down and all the energy that was used to grow the fruit has begun to turn the plant themselves lifeless. We like to get our squash out of the garden at the earliest time possible in order to limit the chance they'll be damaged by squash bugs or other pests, and we certainly want to make sure they're harvested before we get a freeze, as this will damage the skin and accelerate the degradation process. As with anything, growing a garden takes time and practice. The more you grow a certain variety of squash, or any plant for that matter, the more you'll become accustomed to what you're looking for to determine when it's time to harvest. All right, everyone, hope this helps and gives you a little more confidence as you navigate growing food for your family. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, have a wonderful day.